Good evening, friends. Welcome again to this beautiful evening with the Global Women in Leadership Conversation Series. I'm Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Chairperson for Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment of GCPIT, and your host for this evening. Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID 19 World. This is the theme for International Women's Day 2021. This theme aims to celebrate the tremendous efforts by women and girls around the world in shaping a more equal future. Through this leadership conversation series, we are also aiming to celebrate the unsung heroes who have been relentlessly working for the empowerment of women and for the betterment of society. We at GCPIT believe that it is critically important for all of us to look at all the challenges women often face and clear the path for the talented and dynamic leaders to rise to the top. This understanding, together with our own commitment to fostering a culture at GCPIT and CMSME that is both diverse and inclusive, inspired us to start this conversation series on women and leadership. This series will have 100 global women leaders sharing their stories and experiences with us every day, which will be a learning university for us. We are aiming this series as an eye-opener to the society, which will surely encourage leaders to take clear and decisive steps to develop the leadership potential of their female employees. GCPIT's initiatives like the Global Women's Business Summit, Womenomics, and She Trades Global Mission and follow-on programming have one objective: to move more women into the C-suite. These events bring together today's most accomplished leaders from the world of business, politics, sports, and the media to inspire the next generation of women leaders. We all have to do our part to make it happen. There is power in every decision we make. And when your decisions and actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. We have such a leader with us today whose actions have inspired me and many, many women out there. CMSME is proud to have her as our national chairman. Ms. Navamita Masumdar, the highly energetic and dynamic leader of CMSME. Welcome, Navamita, to the Global Women in Leadership Conversation Series.
Namaste and thank you so much.
To give a small background of the work she has been doing and inspiring millions of people out there, she is the founder of Nabomita.com, a platform through which she amplifies meaningful messages to the society using different formats of media. Through this platform, she evangelizes causes and issues in technology, AI, future of work, investment, startups, employer branding, women empowerment, entrepreneurship, gender diversity, equal pay, etc. She mentors CEOs and CXOs and startup founders and helps companies scale up their business to earn $1 million revenues. She works closely with organizations such as United Nations and ICT, promoting women's education in technology and management. As a TEDx speaker, she has been addressing forums across the world. She has been quoted on prominent national and international media, including Forbes US. She was invited for a lunch with the Honorable President of India at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She has been awarded various honors, including Top 25 Influential Women on Twitter, Top 20 HR Influencers by SHRM India, Top 100 Tech Influencers, and she is also the winner of 100 Women Achievers Award by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And the latest addition to the list being one among GCPIT's 100 selected women leaders globally. Congratulations on all your achievements, and once again, welcome to the show, Navamita.
Thank you so much. What an honor. Absolute honor. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction and honoring my hard work. Thank you.
Yeah, from the time I joined CMSME, I've been looking at you with admiration. How can someone achieve so much at such a young age? Can you tell us where this all started?
Okay. I would say that yes, ideally the timeline started in the final year of MBA, wherein yes, I came across came across a problem wherein the solution was suggested to me by a faculty from XLRI. He's a very great faculty from XLRI, Dr. Madhukar Shukla. And that was the birth of an idea, right? Wherein he shared an idea and I just loved it. I started looking for it. I pursued it. Eventually, I joined the product. I became a partner full time. The product grew. Top Alexa ranking in terms of HR communities. all that happened, I moved on to build my second product, which is my company Navamita.com that I'm running right now, which is an evangelizing platform. Um, Absolutely a overwhelming journey, because I have been doing things that I could just assume that this should be working in the industry. And interestingly, yes, there are industries and there are sectors who are paying for it. So it's been going great, and I'm grateful for it. Obviously, since this is entirely a completely a pioneering kind of dimension of evangelizing, which is pretty new in India still. I am grateful that COVID even opened up more doors for us, and thankfully, with media tech expanding, yes, our sector is looking up, and I'm grateful.
Yes, while we were discussing the effects of pandemic, as you were mentioning now, you were sharing with me stories of how people have leveraged the situation and to scale up, right? So I think this would be a huge eye opener for many who are complaining that pandemic has affected their businesses. Can you please put some light on that?
Okay, if you just Google, you will find reports on companies which have gone revenue positive during the pandemic, and then there are companies which have become revenue negative because of the short supply, because of the logistic issues, because of the low access to physical goods buying. So all those might have killed a lot of products, but there are a lot of sectors which has come up. And interestingly, yes, I have come across. I think I have lost account of how many great women leaders in all this while, and that is I'm talking about globally, right? And they have literally gone beyond the definition of disruption, and they have created success stories and revenue streams which could have not been thought of without the pandemic. I'm so sorry to say. Because these women leaders, what I found the common thread was empathy. The way they empathized to any problem at hand, and they came up with solution. Initially, most of them did not even have a revenue stream, but then they thought that no, this has to be done, so we will do it. And thankfully, certain revenue streams worked out for them. Few had their revenue streams going right from day one, so they were far more blessed and successful. But then the overall theme is the kind of success that they have woven through this the difficult time, wherein most of the shops were closing down, most of the firms were into red, employees were not getting paid, and here we have a completely different segment of leaders who build a new history.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear. Like, empathizing is I know, very, very important in a leader as well. So, what do you have? Is like, what can you say about it? What you think empathy is really important in a leader also, right?
It's exactly what you said now.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it is actually mirroring, right? When you see something, you may not have experienced it, right? Um, sympathy is looking at somebody and just trying to feel bad for that person, or trying to console that person, whereas empathy is into getting into that person's shoes, irrespective of whether you have experienced it or not, and trying to figure out a probable solution out of it, right? So that's where I believe that our female leaders stand apart, and that's exactly where, I mean, I was listening to Rituji as well, and I loved what she said. As I'm a leader, my leadership would be measured by the number of leaders I'm creating. Obviously, our success is always measured by the number of success we create around us. So yeah, I believe this is exactly what empathy is all about. You get into shoes of somebody, you do not belong to that situation, you do not belong to, yet you put in your you think through, and you put in your wrap your brain around it, and figure out some solution,
Great,
which
great.
women excel at.
Yes, true. So I've been listening to you talking about future of work. So prior to the pandemic, you could ask a dozen people what the future of work meant, and you get a lot of different answers, right? Then
Yeah,
COVID-19 pressed the fast forward button, I think, and we learned about
yeah,
the immediate practical future in work, future of
yeah.
work in a hurry. So the most obvious lesson: you need not be at office to get stuff done. So what do you think the future of work will look like for women, and what are the things they should
Okay.
really plan if they want to reach the top?
A beautiful day to talk about this because I believe Salesforce just today, right, a few hours back, probably just some time back, they announced that 9 to 5 is dead. Say a
Oh,
company of Salesforce might, right, have announced it. The news is on Verge, the news is on Washington Post, I think on Wall Street Journal as well. So, what is happening? The company suddenly feels that people don't need to be in office in a 9 to 5 model. They can come to office, and it will be a mix of uh, office and home, right? Both, I mean, we call it a hybrid workforce, both on-site and off-site employees. Yes, as you said, this is a fast forward button, all pressed by the pandemic, definitely. However, it's been almost 10 years. I'm grateful to have been introduced to this concept. And interestingly, my first product during my first product, I came across it, and somehow I felt this is where the industry is going. This is how the world will shape into. Even though back in 2010, when we started the thought leadership, there was just a bunch of technology companies who were talking about it, and most of it was imagined to be a PR effect, whereas it was not. Right? Most of us who were not funded by any of those technology companies were still actively talking about it. I'm grateful that those kind of ideas, those kind of thought leadership were acknowledged. And yes, I was acknowledged by Blue Jeans Network in 2018, wherein the product was still not used as much as we are using it now through the pandemic time. And they made a list of 10 thought leaders across the world, and I'm the only Indian in the and a woman in that list.
wow.
So
That's amazing.
I
That's
we
amazing.
back 10 years back, we knew this is going to happen. 10 years it took us to shape up the world, to shape up the world through through the kind of thought leadership practices that we have done. And yes, some companies who were really proactive in implementing it really gained out of it. When pandemic started, I mean, the first week of March, I wrote an article for Fortune magazine, and that was entirely about how I managed my entire business. I mean, two businesses, uh, right from my living room. I never had to go to office. Telecommuting, remote location, Teams. How did we still do it? Remote location client. So yes, I'm grateful that was considered to be a part of many. Many handheld journals to the companies who were transforming right at that point of time into a hybrid workforce. That made into their manuals, their journals. Uh, However, what I think is this is just the beginning. We have still not seen the complete version of what future of work is all about. Initially, yes, most of us thought it would be about bots. Bot would take away our jobs. Then suddenly, all thanks to pandemic, it has become about telecommute. In future, it is going to be a mixture of bots, telecommute, and even more features into it. Wait and watch. We will talk about it if you keep listening to us.
Yes, right, right. And I still remember when I called you once, you said you are attending 3 meetings at a time. So how do you manage
Yeah.
your time? That is another very important
Okay.
question.
Yes, absolutely. Even today, I have been in back-to-back sessions, right? And yes, technology at points, at times, technology is the reason why we can do so much, right? It's entirely the reason, right? The gadgets around us, the software that we use, the apps that we use. At times, technology even affects us. I mean, just today, I suddenly had a panic attack that if I don't get to log in, how do I take this session? And thankfully, God has His own plan. So. Irrespective of what Murphy says, God still believes that no, this has to happen, so I will make it happen. So that way, I believe the entire time management works out pretty well with all kinds of technology and God by my side. So and biggest thing, what I believe is all about priority. If you really are, if you really are determined to do something, if you set your mind to it, no matter how many roadblocks come to you, you will be able to deliver it. So, you do work round the clock, right? Till 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, you're working. Why are we
Right.
working? Are we overworking? Are we bad managers of time? No, we are not bad managers of time. We are probably doing 300%, 400% of our capabilities, and we are doing it because we love it. So the entire time management and entire discipline routine and everything goes into it. So that's
Yeah, that
what
was
my take is.
perfect. That was perfect answer. So all these activities, as you were mentioning God and no, I thought let me ask this question. All these activities usually take a lot of time and energy out of women, right? Sometimes we feel really exhausted, and there are moments when we feel we can't take it anymore. So how have you ever felt so, or what do you do to recharge yourself?
Okay. To begin with, I have a very bad immunity system in my body. I don't know why I keep falling sick. Almost, I mean, last week I was sick again, and a few weeks back I was sick again. So that keeps happening all the time. I think that's one of the natural way of my body makes me pulls me back the moment I push myself way too forward. Second thing is, yes, how do I recharge myself? Honestly, yes, meditation and all these kind of processes, the mind training processes are the one that makes anybody most most productive. That's definitely there. However, for me, I draw my energies from talking to people. Now that I'm talking to you, I'm energized for the next few good hours. So this actually keeps us on our toes. I mean, think about it. Why would you work till 2 a.m. in the morning every day? At this stage, you can just relax, right? They say those who have thriven should rise at 7. Those who will thrive should rise at 5. Why are you still working hard? Because this is what energizes you. This is what makes you happy. That's good enough to de-stress you, isn't
True,
it?
so true, yeah. Right. So we all admire you. We all admire you and admire your work. Okay, we all look up to you for inspiration as well. So, but we would like to know who inspires you and why. Who has inspired you in your life?
Okay, lot of people, right? Definitely, there are leaders around the world who have inspired me, right? For first and foremost, I think he inspires you as well, Franklin Roosevelt. This is- Obviously, getting to the basic point is the first person who I can think of as an inspiration, right? And that's my mom. Each time I look at her schedule, she's way ahead to what I'm delivering. She has already achieved way ahead in life than I can probably put together in my next few lives. And those are the people whom I have seen closest in through thick and thin times, through difficult and glorious times, and I've seen them how they hold up. Even if the going gets difficult, they don't break down. I mean, Sita Pragya is a word we read in books, but these are the people around me who teach that Sita Pragya is actually a process. It's actually a way of life. If you can actually think about it in that direction, and that's inspirational for me enough. Obviously, leaders whom I've worked with, Minka ma'am, obviously I can't stop naming her. Obviously, Modi ji. I mean, each time I think about leaders like them, the kind of hard work, the kind of dedication that they bring into the to anything that they do. It might not be a world-changing initiative. It could be a very simple thing, but uh, I mean, an email that gets a response at 8 a.m. in the morning. They don't need to at their level, but they are doing it. That's inspiring enough for me. That's my million
So
dollar
true.
inspiration around me.
So true. And when we are talking about great leaders, what do you think are the three traits great leaders possess?
Okay, first and foremost is they are very quick to identify the the strength and the weakness in people extremely fast, right? um, this is not a general IQ or EI kind of a level that I'm talking about. They can just at the glance they know what the person can deliver best and where the person is exactly going to fail. This is one trait which I don't know how many years or how many hours of practice needs to be developed, but this one trait is extremely important. Second thing is dealing with duality. The leaders whom I have seen, I mean, right from people who are running our nation, right from people who are running the biggest business of the nation, or people who are running the most difficult families around us, the way they handle dualities, that's beautiful. I mean, every situation is ambiguous, right? Nothing is white and black. Everything is different shades of gray. The way they manage it, the way they round it up, and still remain transparent, that's I think commendable, and that puts them way ahead of others, which is why people trust them, right? That even if it gets tough, they are ahead of us. They will sail us ahead of it. So this is the second trait, and the third trait, right? Which I definitely, I mean, I value the most, and we just talked about, and that's empathy. The level of empathy I have seen in those leaders, right? Uh, at their stature, you cannot even imagine them to know that what the exact situation is, but they don't even take a fraction of a second to get into your shoes, realize what the exact problem is, and give you a solution which would leave you in a, I mean, you would be gasping for breath that, okay, how did he even, or how did she even know that this was exactly my problem? So those are the three criterias which makes a leader way ahead of the entire group, and which makes them trustworthy, which is why they remain the leader.
Great, great. And see, you are a great influencer on the social media, right? So, what advice would you give to the female leaders, next generation female leaders who are looking to be social media influencers?
Okay, I'm grateful the word social media used, but then few days back, there's this primetime media channel, right? We were in discussion with them, with one of their CXOs, and they said that we use the word social media, but actually y'all are influencing the news, right? The thought process of the nation. So I loved it even more. So my suggestion stems entirely out of the process that I have been through, and what I inculcate when I say talk about anything. There are a few do's and don'ts that I have strictly for me, right? I do not share anything which is objectionable and adult content or hate speech, and I do not share anything which is against my nation, or initiate any kind of a feeling about anybody's nation. So those are the first few things that I have strongly for me. And secondly is speak your mind. You can be influenced by somebody, but at the end of the day, you have to know why you are saying something, to be able to explain it at the very root of it, right? For example, future of work, I wouldn't have been able to do so much of a thought leadership for uh, 11 years now if I had not really worked knee deep, or probably my ankle deep into it, right? So I'm completely not knee ankle. I think I neck deep into it. Yeah, that's how deep I have had to be. You cannot have a short-sighted approach to any kind of areas that you want to talk about. Uh, Whatever you embody as, if you talk about it, that makes you a real influencer in that dimension, because you know things much better than anybody else can. So people will actually trust what you are saying. So just today, when we were going through this Salesforce news, and I was in a call with my colleagues from US, and they were saying that we were also talking about the news about on protocol, wherein John Chambers, he had talked about the exodus from California. So we were saying that this is just a tip of it. We shouldn't be quick to comment on it, because there is a lot more in store. The Biden administration is just taking shape. So until and unless we see a couple of more weeks, a couple of more announcements, we will not know exactly which direction the future is going to go. Anyhow, the industry has its own mindset. So let's wait for the administration too. So this is how thoughtful, this is how de-risking you need to be if you have to, if you want to be a voice to something. Obviously, research and hard work is all what I would suggest.
Yeah, that's true. And in your journey towards success, have you ever experienced resistance from men or women?
I'm pretty headstrong, to be honest, right? So I mean, even if there were resistance, honestly, I wouldn't know. Uh, yes, as a kid, I might have been a pushover, but as an adult, I believe that if I'm saying something, there is a reason behind it. And yes, I always explain what I say, which is why I don't think I have faced resistance. I have. I'm grateful. I mean, think about it. Why would I be a community builder if I was a pushover, right? When I say something, there are so many people who agree with me because I'm explaining it the way they think it is, right? So, yeah, I think that's where the resistance becomes a support to you, and in place of becoming a dictator, you become a community leader.
Right, right. And what actions do you think can both women and men take to encourage a greater number of women to lead on the global goals from across sectors of and industries, including business, government, academia, and civil society?
Okay. For men, it's endless support to women, right? I mean, that's one area which we will need probably even 100 years from now, because we do not know how many years of backlog we have to work each time we take a step forward, right? One maternity amendment was done, and there were so many resistances. But then few supportive company, and it works. And through the pandemic, we have seen that 6 months of maternity leave and 6 months of working from home is definitely nothing undoable for the industry. Everybody can do it. So yes, every little step towards empowering women needs tremendous, I mean, probably pre-mammoth size of support from men, first thing. And for women, do not assume, right? For us, what happens is, most of us, yes, we are grateful, we are privileged to have a background, we are privileged to have parents who are inspiring, strong, and role models for us. But not everybody is so. uh, we Most of us are brought up with a thought process of a limiting mind. So with that limiting mind, when we start assuming, we will literally reach not even 20% of our might or of our acumen, or actualize any of our capabilities. So I believe, for women, I would suggest, do not assume anything about you. Do not assume anything about opportunities offered to you. Stay open, because what you see as 20% is actually 200%. And probably if you really push yourself more and you get the right support, probably you'll achieve 2,000%. You never know. So yes, my expectation of women is far higher than they think than they assume themselves to be. So that would be my message for them.
That's really inspiring, Nabamita. I have a lot of questions to ask and a lot of answers to be given, but due to time constraints, I'm going to ask you my
Fine.
last two questions. How do you feel being awarded under the She Trades Global Leadership Awards and getting into the 100 women? I know you are used to that, but I
Thanks so
have to
much.
ask this.
Uma.
How do you feel?
Aparnaji, no matter whatever I receive, each time I receive something, it is, take my words, my heart jumps in joy. It is as if the first thing I have received ever, right? So everything is extremely close to my heart. I don't think I will ever get enough of it. I will ever find it. I will ever find it enough. Anything about it, I will only want more. Greedy, not greedy. I'm grateful, right? And one thing about it is, platforms such as this, recognition, more than platform, recognition such as this, actually bring in, probably in this recognition, you're recognizing 100 women, but you're actually empowering a far greater number through this, right? Through these 100 women, each woman is connected to the success of many other women, many other men, many other companies around them. You're making all of it successful. So when you are acknowledging 100, the number is many x beyond 100. First thing. Second thing is, you are opening doors for success to many uh, aspirants. I will not call them just women. Many aspirants who would be looking into this particular lead of leaders, I mean, band of leaders, and imagine that if they could do it, probably I can do it too. If somebody is listening to me and can figure out that if I can build so much from my living room and I'm still working from home and I can still go ahead and do so much, probably if you're at home, you can also do a lot more than what I have done. You are a lot smarter than me. There is no stopping for you. You do have better education than me, probably even better support than me. You can think better than me. So you are opening doors to uncountable aspirants through this one award. So yes, which is why I congratulate the entire team for launching it, and I am grateful for acknowledging me. Take my words, I'm happy as a kid. Every time, every time I would look at it, I would do a little rain dance in my heart. So thank you so much for keeping me happy, keeping me so inspired, recognizing my hard work, all those hours through 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, 18 hours a day for 11 years, 12 years, 16 years. I have lost account of how many years. Thank you for acknowledging every failure, success, and tears and sweat through that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namamita, and congratulations once again. And what would be your message for She Trades Global Mission 2021?
Okay, just as I said, this is a responsibility. It sounds like an award, but this is a responsibility. Now that you have received it, you are opening doors to many aspirants over there who would want to lead like you. It's your responsibility to make better leaders out of them, to find their opportunities even more successful, fulfilling, and gratifying. I hope you do that extremely well. I know you will. And this year, when we celebrate 100 leaders, next year we would be even more excited to find those stories that were inspired out of these 100. So yes, it's a celebration that begins now and would continue as long as it takes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was really, really inspiring, Navamita. Thank you so much for joining with me in this conversation today. Women's Day being around the corner, let's together promise to support, mentor, and build more women leaders in the coming years. Thank you so much, audience,
Absolutely.
for right. Thank you so much, dear audience, for being with us till now. We'll be back tomorrow with another leader, another story in global women leadership conversation. Thank you and stay safe.
God bless you and thank you so much. God bless you.